Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is the Criminology podcast. My name is Brian. No. My name is Fidel and I'm with Brian. Brian, yaje?
Fresh sana bro.
So on today's topic, sijui kama umesikia story ya John Matara.
John Matara, story nimeisikia tena.
Yeah, again.
Again, John Matara amekuwa on social media.
Social media makoti.
Amekuwa koti lakini nimeona social media.
Umeona huko kwa koti.
Asikuwa labda kama ulikuwa uniona. Leo ulikuwa milimani bro.
Asikuwa milimani. Pia mimi nimepata hiyo information tu kwa social media, YouTube na FB. Hapo ndo nimeona that kuna evidence za link kwa the death of
that socialite Scarlet Wahu.
Unajua Scarlet Wahu alikuwa sister Kanyari,
nephew ama a relative to Kanyari.
A relative.
Yeah,
allegedly hatujui.
When she died, there was this story hata Kanyari was part of that burial. You saw ni relative wa Kanyari. Yes, those are the facts.
Okay.
Yeah, and nimeona hiyo video, kulikuwa na forensic evidence. Definitely it was coming. It was just a matter of time.
True.
Because alikuwa kwa hiyo crime scene, akakimbia akaenda hospitali, nilisikia hivyo. Alisema alikuwa pia attacked.
Okay, ikitokea alikuwa anajidefend.
Ilikuwa self defense. Yeah, so alimkata kwa thigh, then akakimbia akaenda hospitali. So some other ladies realized, raise alarm, police respond kwa crime scene, akapata amekatwa the thigh, then he left to bleed. Fima. Akawachwa ku bleed, akakufa.
Ali overbleed. So cause of death ni overbleed.
Yeah, hemorrhage. So may her soul rest in peace, continue resting in peace. And nobody deserves to die, bro.
A death like that.
Nobody deserves to die a death like that. It was so unfortunate. And I'm happy that the law has taken its course. Najua a lot of evidence. It has taken long time. It has been taken so big, and that means that this year wamekuwa wakifanya kazi yao vizuri.
Yamekuwa thorough kwa the investigation.
Yeah, and forensic evidence, testimonies zote zimekuwa assembled. Alafu pia yeye ametestify, nasikia mwenyewe amesema nilimkata na nikamwacha akibleed na finally akakufa. So that now we are waiting for the verdict. Will it stand as murder or will it be manslaughter? Will it how much sentence it will attract? We are still waiting for the court, but we are just hoping that justice will be served for the family of that socialite, so that at least
Starlet.
Yeah, we are hoping
socialite. Yeah, okay.
But see, she was a social media influencer.
True.
Yeah, so it serves to say that she was a socialite, and may her soul rest in
eternal peace.
Yeah. So no matter what, no matter how you disagree, no matter the message you're supposed to send, it must not lead to death, or any kind of injury to a human being. And I'm hoping when the family of that of the victim sees that sentence, I'm hoping they'll find some peace, they'll find some satisfaction, they'll find that justice has been done. And I'm hoping that that sentence alone will serve to a sentence will serve as a lesson kwa wale predator
wa madini. Loda anaweza kuwa na charge na manslaughter ama murder.
Depending on the level of evidence that has been collected, and there are usually defense. Pia akona defense yake, of which we have not heard from the side of defense. He will say yes, alimkata. He say it's true, alimkata kwa mapaja, but he say he was also attacked. So anaweza sema alikuwa anafanya that in self defense. Maybe anasema he was saving his own life, ndo na intention yake ya kumkata haikuwa amuue, but because his own life was also in danger, akasema kibi hospitali kwanza. As I said before, we usually have mitigating and aggravating factors kwa any offense. It is different when somebody stabbed somebody 47 times or 20 times or 15 times. Ukimstab ukimua.
Ukimua.
But the action that is taken after a crime determine the sentencing in court. So utapata, this guy said, now that I was in imminent danger as well. That's when by the way, the police went to that clinic where he was getting medical attention.
Yeah.
Na I heard it was minor injuries.
Minor?
For him, for Matara.
I don't think so. Kaya like alijidunga hapa hivi kwa tumbo. Alidungwa, I don't know. But story ilikuwa ya saa hizo bila kumbuka vizuri, ilikuwa ati kwa hiyo yani to fake, yani story yake ilikuwa ndio fake, alikuwa pia ameatakiwa ndio akaji.
So
stab kwa tumbo.
It is believed that he was not stabbed.
Yeah,
he stabbed himself
allegedly,
but now the court must prove that.
Yeah.
So of course there are a lot of the DCI has a lot of capacity to do that, to prove whether you stabbed yourself depending on the direction of the knife. You know, there is the way the forensic analysts wanafanya hizo vitu zote. But if it is proved that indeed he was also stabbed, or he was also in imminent danger if he did not get medical attention, maybe he had Scarlet just to save his own life, then the sentence might be reduced. Not that he will be forgiven per se, but the sentence might be reduced from maybe life imprisonment
to 20-something
to some years, then anatoka. But either way, a message to society is that you should get to know somebody first.
Yeah.
It is not
engage to
mambo ya love at first sight. Love at first sight, or you before you get to know somebody, you already in isolated places. But having said that, we condemn that crime. Yeah, it's not supposed to happen like that. But at the same time, you should take precautions. Do not participate for you being victimized. Do not participate in your own victimization, because at the end of the day, we have bad people and good people. That is the nature of our society. So sometimes you should try to avoid to get in the line of bad people. Although things just happen, but be at home on time. If you're hanging out with a stranger, go hang out in public.
Or at least to ujulishe your next of kin, your good friend who you are going to hang out with.
Yeah, and especially if this relationship has been sparked on social media. You never know. You know, social media kuna mask. People are hiding behind the phone. You never know real character. So so sometimes watu wanamaliza hata talking stage kwa social media.
Kupatana tu
and then they are booking a hotel.
They are booking an Airbnb.
So it should not happen that way. Nafa ujua hata anger issues za mtu. Unajua kuna mtu wako provoked so easily, and you can really not judge from the word go wakati mnaanza kudate, even if the way wana treat hata waiter. Umeenda pale na mtu date, waiter ameleta tu machungwa badala ya maembe, champigia kelele baza.
Hizo ni character sense unafaa usome.
Character sense ndio jamaa enga issues zake. Na kuna mtu tu akutu calm, ukikutana naye hata wewe sema usijali, najua uko na orders mingi, lakini mimi nilikuwa nimeitisha machungwa. Unaona? Hizo ni personality
za tatu wrong nini? Zirudisha.
Ama unamuuliza labda machungwa imeisha ndo maana umeniletea maembe. But mimi nilikuwa na prefer machungwa. Lakini ukiona ule mtu kuna mwenye anaweza bang hata meza ama hata mwage maji chini ama gonge glass. Those when you see searching from a partner that you want to date, then it is definitely a red flag. So just take your time, social media, take your time to know somebody so that you don't fall victim of these crimes.
Yeah, true. Okay. As we hop into our next topic, kuna history ya Ali Nuno, the commissioner Coastal region. Yeah, wa Coast.
Yeah.
That by the way of late tumesikia kuna stories za nini? Hapa na pale stories za gang related violence nini.
Yeah, wanasema the panga wielding criminals.
True.
Mapanga hawa, angusha hawa. Kabisa. Angusha mtu. Hapana baba. That panga is a dangerous offensive weapon ambayo ikigonga mtu inaua. So wewe unabembeleza maisha upoteze maisha. Wewe gonga mtu chini. Hapana bembeleza. Hiyo tutafanya wenzangu. Hiyo hakika. Hapa kaburi itakuwa itazidi. The force of law will apply and we will not hesitate to use our firearms. Two, were fatally injured in Likoni. And that's how Likoni came quiet. Therefore, where we are justified to use a firearm, we will not hesitate to use the firearm. Mutachimba makaburi hapa Mombasa mkicheza. Sitabembeleza na sitacheka na hii watu. Mapanga hawa, angusha hawa. Kabisa. Angusha mtu. Hapana baba. That panga is a dangerous offensive weapon ambayo ikigonga mtu inaua. So wewe unabembeleza maisha upoteze maisha. Wewe gonga mtu chini. Hapana bembeleza. Hiyo tutafanya wenzangu. Hiyo hakika. Hapa kaburi itakuwa itazidi. Na force of law will apply and we will not hesitate to use our firearms. Two, were fatally injured in Likoni. And that's how Likoni came quiet. Therefore, where we are justified to use our firearm, we will not hesitate to use the firearm. Mutachimba makaburi hapa Mombasa mkicheza. Sitabembeleza na sitacheka na hii watu.
From that video,
yeah, I think
a lot of toughness.
Yeah, I appreciate the passion of that commissioner and his stand against gangs and violence, of which that is the work of a police commissioner. He has a responsibility to maintain law and order and keep communities safe.
Yeah.
But my only worry is, does this tough on crime policies really reduce the crime, the challenges that people face in the society? We have seen the tough and crime policies before, not even in Kenya. I remember history says that in 1970 we had the rising of gangs and crime in the United States. So the government introduces a tough on crime policies, more police, harsher sentences and strict laws. Ikakuwa hata watu kwa streets wanaogopa. Yeah. So it is the same pattern that we are seeing here. Authorities respond to this gang uprising with harsher policies.
Yeah.
So it means that we have militarized responses. Ile amesema mtachimba makaburi. But does this really remove the underlying ile problem yenye inafanya hizi gangs inatoka juu?
Check hata hadi Kenya human rights by condemn your statement.
Yeah, because it's like una rub to problem juu, but we have the roots themselves. Yes, it will act as a deterrent in some way, but it will not solve.
It's not a permanent solution.
It is not. We will not see a decline. And the example in the United States during the 1970s, it never solved the problem that existed, because we had still discrimination, we had unemployment, we had victimization of communities, and it was bad in the United States because now they segregated communities. Wakasema sasa watu fulani ndio wanafanya hii. So when you are associated with certain people, you lose your job. You cannot get an employment, you cannot do anything. So ikakuwa the problem zinaendelea ku increase in the society instead of solving them. So I think it is good to be tough on crime, but it should be combined with other measures. For example, do you know when the police start arresting gangs or arresting young people who are believed to be associated in gangs, they might at some point get it wrong. Kutakuwa na wale mnasema mtego wa panya, unashika waliomo na wasiokuwa. For example, juzi, see the police walikuwa na pursue a gang, then they shot a lady hapa Kiamaiko.
Hapa Huruma.
Hapa Huruma.
KMTC.
A stray bullet. How does the society react in response to that? So unapata there is more resistance from the society. They start now distancing themselves from the police. Wanaanza kuona police kama adui. Instead, we should have community policing where police say that they should arrest this criminal and put more pressure on the courts. And the rehabilitation and the correction, but not killing, because they will be a stray bullet.
Yeah,
and they will be a stray bullet. And I don't mean that the police should slow down on these gangs. No, they should continue, but they should live within the law, respect human life. Sometimes it will be a case of mistaken identity. You will kill an innocent citizen. You will end up being tough instead of guiding and providing rehabilitation for these people. And then number two, when they are arrested or killed, there is more resistance. For example, you are in the United States, when they arrested more people believed to be associated in gangs, now they form another gang. And because maybe there will be no solid evidence to link them to these gangs, they are released at the end of the day. Now they are more refined criminals than they were before when they are being arrested. So I thought it was wise for the commissioner to combine that toughness with other measures. For example, they should find a way of motivating the youth in Kwale. True. It could be a problem. They should first of all understand the problem. Is it unemployment? Is it a lack of formal education? Is it poverty? Is it weak parental structures? Those are the things that they should address. Then now you put off fire at the base. Una fight moto kwa base. Sio juu. So they address the root causes. Kama ni job, we have the empowerment problem. Hizi nyota yenye rais anasambaza.
Hizi nyota.
Those young people, many young people now that wako na temptation ya kuingia kwa hizi gangs, let them benefit from this nyota problem. Let them start income generating activities so that they willingly get out of crime. Unaona, ni kama tu mtu unapeleka rehabilitation mlevi na yeye mwenyewe hataki. At the end of the day,
haitamsaidia.
Ukimtoa huko rehabilitation, and then we cannot say that we kill because it is against the Kenyan constitution. The law does not permit the police to shoot and kill in the street. Even the toughest criminal cannot be shot and killed.
Bravo. Ushaibiwa simu?
Bado.
Utaibiwa simu. I'll ask you that question. Kama if you can just that you unachukua kwa polisi ndio hapo kuibia simu.
Let me correct you, bro. The other day in Kawangware, a young man ametoka job is as a security guard at a supermarket. At a supermarket. Ametoka kuona game ya Arsenal na Manchester United. He on the streets.
So bad, man. That was so bad.
That's why I'm telling you, if we allow toughness on the streets, whether it's coming from the police, it will be imitated by the citizens. I'm telling you. We are going to kill a lot of innocent people on the streets.
True.
So toughness on crime doesn't work in the 21st century. Crime doesn't happen out of a vacuum. It is a problem that is emerges from social problems that are existing. Lack of proper education, unemployment, parenting, and other things. So that is what should be addressed. And society will imitate the police. They will suspect a person, they will kill them. Just the same case that happened college Kawangware. So I think it should go beyond shoot and kill. As much as shoot and kill can be a good one to deter, but it should go beyond that. In fact, human rights violation and the respect to the right of life as it is inherent in our Kenyan constitution. Everybody has a right to life. And I'm telling you, even the most violent criminal has a right to life. And has a right to fair judgment, has a right to representation, and has a right to bail. Kwa kisheria, utaua mtu murder, you will be given bail as long as your report comes out clean. You are entitled to bail. You are entitled to judicial process that is free, fair, and impartial. So shoot and kill is good for like sounding tough, but is it embedded in the law? Is it within the law? And is it the solution that will help Kwale people?
No.
According to me,
no.
It is not.
So in other stories, there was a doctor who defiled a pregnant lady. Hey, watu huku nje sijua kwa nini mwanzo.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Wapatana nayo Bomet.
Yeah, Bomet bana. A pregnant woman was raped by a clinical officer. So ni kama anamuita kumcheck. But how does a man get there? Like somebody mwenye ako so vulnerable, so weak, pregnant.
So weak. Sijui labda alimdunga nini ya kulala. I don't know.
But
that's a very delicate lady, but
it is a very delicate lady, and as a man and as a medical practitioner, you should protect these ladies. But having cases where you are now you are now a medical practitioner who is a predator on patients, wagonjwa, then that one becomes a serious offense in Kenya and a breach of professional trust, which is very punishable. And let me tell you, these cases are not isolated. I was doing my research, and in Mombasa, we had a dialysis patient who was abused by his doctor, sexual harassment. In fact, repeated sexual harassment by a doctor in 2025. Dialysis patient, muna amekuja kwa dialysis, instead of you helping, you repeatedly assault her. And now you wonder, where should patients run to if they cannot find safety in the hospitals? Yeah, and then we had a case in the UK where a general practitioner in the UK alikuwa convicted over 90 sexual assault on female patients. 90 in the UK. Now this one is just a representation of what happens behind these blue curtains. Kwa OC. Wewe umeenda na your wife, umemwacha aende daktari confidentiality na privacy. Kumbe the doctor is predating on patient. And I remember kulikuwa na expose nyingine ya NTV, Doctor from Hell. You remember that?
Yeah.
So I think it is now time that the society should speak about this.
And the government, what's the government?
And the government. And then we are even in France. These are not cases for third world countries alone. Even in France, we had child sexual abuse in healthcare. A surgeon was convicted for rape for over 300 young patients. This is an air material doctor on a sort of 300 young patients. It happened in Colombia as well, Norway, and Kenya. Now, when we have this level of betrayal of trust, it's because patients don't see it coming.
True.
Young children don't see it coming.
No, they don't.
In fact, they might think that now they are being helped. So, such kind of abuse of trust from doctors, I think it should attract the harshest punishment to ever exist in the Kenyan law or any law in the world. Because you can imagine the emotional and psychological turmoil, the consequences where a pregnant woman, a young sick child, the emotional damage inaenda kumfanyikia, and the physical damage, because this is somebody who is performing a sexual act to you against your will. So I think abuse of position of authority in any professional field should be condemned with the highest stamp possible. The way we are tough on gangs, we should be tough on professionals who abuse a position of authority. I think the government should now wamulike tochi yao huko kwa hospitals, because it is easy to assume, and then it is easy to assume that everything is going on well until such cases zinaanza kutokea. And now we have our patients, we have our young children when you wanapitia a lot of stress because wameenda hospitali wakiwa wagonjwa na wamerudi wakiwa wagonjwa zaidi. Wamerudi wakiwa wagonjwa zaidi.
Yeah, hata inaweza fanya uko unaenda usina mtu you are trusted, the person you trust kwa ward ndani hadi mkiona daktari.
Yeah, mazee. So it is authority. Sometimes the people in authority, like the people who have the mandate sworn to protect life, to treat, they are the same people who are contributing to criminal activities. Then tunashangaa wale mtu ajaienda class, mtu mwenye sasa si society will it be safe for anybody? Kama daktari, walimu, watu wako na pesa, watu wako na akili ndo wana contribute to the highest number of crime in the world and in Kenya. Where will the rest of the society be, bro? So it is a shame, and I think the society needs to speak about this louder. Human rights, lecturers, students, professionals everywhere should come out with the strongest words possible to restore hygiene in medical facilities. Restore hygiene in medical facilities and create safer
environments.
Yes.
So thank you for watching. Kama episode imekubamba, like, subscribe and share and leave a comment. Thank you so much.